Here's the thing. Somewhere out there right now, some guy in sweatpants is yelling at his Wi-Fi while eating cereal with a fork. That guy has a crown in his family tree. Because kings? Kings were just dictators who inherited the torture basement instead of building it themselves. Today, we're counting down 5 monarchs who make modern war criminals look like they're still in training wheels. Absolute royalty, zero chill. Let's go from yeah, that's pretty bad, to bro delete the bloodline. Number 5. Leopold II of Belgium. Meet the man who turned colonialism into a personal shopping spree. Skinny Victorian dude with a beard that could hide war crimes. And it did. In 1885, he sweet-talked Europe into letting him own the Congo personally, not Belgium cease, him 80 times bigger than his actual country. He named it the Congo Free State, which is the most dishonest branding since all-you-can-eat salad bar. His private army, the Force Publique, marched into villages with quotas. Bring me this much rubber, or I start collecting hands. Miss the quota once? Right hand gone? Miss it twice? Left hand. Kids under 10? They took smaller hands because child labor laws were apparently optional. Officers got bonuses based on how many hands they delivered, literally smoked them to preserve for counting. 10 million dead, maybe 15. Entire regions depopulated. Rivers so full of corpses, fish stopped biting. And Leopold never visited. Just sat in Brussels building arcades and palaces with blood money while writing letters about civilizing people he was turning into ghosts. When missionaries finally snitched with photos, he burned the entire Congo State archives. Man tried to delete the evidence like it was his browser history. Evil so industrial, it basically invented the concept of the middle manager from hell. Number 4, Ivan IV, the Tsar who put the awful in lawful evil. First Russian ruler to crown himself Tsar in 1547, spent his childhood watching nobles murder his mom, so when he grew up he decided therapy was for the weak. Invented the Oprichnina, his personal death cult secret police. 1,000 psychos dressed in black robes, riding black horses, with severed dog heads strapped to the saddles to sniff out treason and brooms to sweep Russia clean of enemies. They had a quota too. Kill, torture, or displace anyone. Feldside eyed him. In 1570, he marched on the city of Novgorod because rumors said they wanted to defect, surrounded it, sealed the roads, then spent 5 weeks turning it into a slaughterhouse. Chroniclers say blood flowed like rivers. Bodies were thrown into the frozen Volkhov so thick you could walk across without getting wet. Estimates range from 15,000 to 60,000 dead in one city alone. Then he went home and accidentally murdered his own pregnant daughter-in-law for wearing a dress that showed too much collarbone, causing a miscarriage. When his son yelled at him, Ivan smashed the kid's temple with his pointed iron staff, sat by the body for days refusing to bury him. Died years later mid-chess game board still set up because even death knew better than to let him lose. Number 3. Qin Shi Huang, the guy who unified China by making or else the national motto. Took the throne at 13, finished conquering the other 6 states by 20-something, then looked around and said, "Cool, now let's make sure no one ever thinks again." Standardized everything, weights, measures, axle widths for carts, the width of roads, and exactly one acceptable opinion. Books that mentioned any other system? Burned. Historians who knew the old ways? Buried alive. One record claims 460 Confucian scholars got the live burial package deal in a single weekend. Then he decided China needed a northern wall. Drafted somewhere between 2 and 4 million people. Most never came home. Workers died of exhaustion, cold starvation bodies just tossed into the trenches, and used as filler because shipping corpses back was expensive. Meanwhile, he's touring the country in a scented carriage, so the smell of his rotting mercury-poisoned body wouldn't offend him. Sent 3,000 boys and girls to sea looking for immortality islands. None came back. Drank liquid mercury mixed with jade because his alchemist said it worked. Turned his skin gray, teeth black, and mood somehow worse. Died at 50 on a road trip. Ministers kept it secret for weeks, driving around with rotting emperor in the wagon, and using cartloads of salted fish to cover the smell. First Empire, eternal legacy, 0 survivors on the group chat. Number 2, Nebuchadnezzar II, Babylon's 5-star war criminal with a Michelin star garden. This man didn't, Ednamlet just win wars. He erased civilizations for sport. Money 597 BCs rolls into Jerusalem and loots the temple, takes 10,000 hostages including the royal family, 587 BCs. Gets word some Jews are still being uppity, comes back angrier. Burns the city, burns Solomon's temple, executes the king's sons in front of him, then blinds the king so that's the last thing he ever sees. Marches the survivors 600 miles to Babylon in chains. Twice, when Tyre insulted him, he besieged it for 13 straight years until the defenders were boiling their shoes for soup. Finally breaks in. City gone, population gone, location so erased that 2,000 years later, Alexander the Great had to build an artificial peninsula just to figure out where it used to be. Built the Ishtar Gate so blue and shiny it hurts, and the Hanging Garden so his homesick Median wife could pretend she wasn't living in a desert prison full of crying exiles. The Bible calls him the Hammer of God. He read that, nodded, and kept swinging. And the deadliest monarch in human history, the one who makes every 20th century tyrant look like they're still workshopping their villain arc, Herod the Great. Rome's hand-picked king of Judea, client ruler, professional family annihilator. Augustus gave him the job because Herod was the only guy ruthless enough to keep the province quiet. He did it by seeing enemies in every shadow, including his own house, fell madly in love with Mariamne, a Hasmonean princess, married her, then executed her for possible infidelity because he loved her so much, he'd rather she die than belong to anyone else after him. Killed her mother, too, for good measure. Had 10 wives total, but kept coming back to, who should I murder today? 3 sons got the axe, Alexander, Aristobulus, and finally Antipater, executed 5 days before Herod himself croaked because the kid was moving too fast on the succession plan. That's 3 sons, 1 beloved wife, 1 mother-in-law, countless cousins, rabbis, teachers, and then the grand finale. Here's about a baby born in Bethlehem who will supposedly be king of the Jews, orders every male child under 2 in the area killed, just to be safe. Estimates range from a dozen to thousands depending on who's counting, but the vibe is toddler genocide speedrun. Died at 73 swollen like a balloon, skin crawling with worms, genitals rotting off, screaming at ghosts only he could see. Doctors ran. Servants hid. Augustus heard the news and reportedly said, "I'd rather be Herod's pig than Herod's son, because the pig, at least, was kosher and safe from the dinner table stabbing. So next time your boss micromanages your PowerPoint font size, just remember, at least he doesn't harvest hands for KPI bonuses, use severed dog heads as HR policy, mix corpses into infrastructure projects, or order a toddler purge because his astrologer sneezed. Your ancestors survived centuries of these crowned demons just so you could exist, pay taxes, and complain about traffic. Be grateful, smash that subscribe button before the next hereditary psychopath gets nuclear codes, and I'll catch you in the next one.